good, people? Welcome to this episode of the By the Hood podcast. As you know, this is the podcast where we highlight people in our community who are making moves and doing things in the business world, in the community. This right here is episode 6. Yeah, so this is episode 6. We got a very special guest for you this evening. This brother is an entrepreneur, an investor, and he's making big moves. You're down in Atlanta now, right?
Yep.
He's making big moves in Atlanta. So we're going to talk to him about his past, his businesses, and what he's got planned. Make sure you pay special attention to some of the things he said, because he's going to give us a lot of gems in terms of how he runs his business, how he sees investing. But before we go any further, I want to say with this content, please make sure you share it, because we do want to highlight these people, and share it everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, because you'll see this post everywhere. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching the video. And if you're listening to the podcast, also make sure you subscribe so you'll get it whenever the podcast comes out. Also in the building, my brother is back here, Corey, because Corey wasn't on the last couple episodes. He's been in the field doing the work. But Corey, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Real?
What's up, brother? How y'all doing, man?
Good, man. We can't complain, man. And like I said, let me introduce this guest. I told you a bit about his background. This is the brother Demario here. So Demario, I told him the fact that you are an entrepreneur, you're an investor, and we're going to talk a little bit about your e-commerce businesses as we move forward. But before we get into your businesses, give us a little bit about your background, like in terms of schooling or what have you.
Well, I graduated high school in 2000. I did some college. I didn't graduate from college though. I went to college from 2000 to like 2003. I got into some little situations during college and actually didn't finish. But I kind of took that information and my experiences and tried to turn it into reality. Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question, because within our community, there's a lot of talk about college now because of the rising costs, the student loan crisis. What is your opinion of college? And I pretty much have been asking this to my guests because everybody has a different opinion. Some say no way. Some people say it's still that important thing. My particular matter of fact, I'm not even going to tell you how I feel. Let me see how you feel first before I even give you my opinion. What do you feel about college?
To be honest, man, I think college is a good thing. As far as the experiences that it gives you, far as being out on your own for the first time and making it without your parents and stuff like that. I feel like that's a good experience for people to have. Second of that, as far as the financial situation that it puts you in after you finish, I'm not really too comfortable with that. So in college, I would kind of say maybe no, but as far as obtaining some type of skill or a trade or something like that, I think that would be more of the way that I would push my kids to go if they were interested in college. I wouldn't just say go to college just to go. Yeah. If they were going for, something that could possibly land them in a good position, say in the next 5 to 10 years or something like that, then I would be with it. But just to go to school for business or something like that, I really wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah, I know when I was going to school, cats was like getting art degrees, and they come out with $100,000 in debt and they can do. But the thing is, I actually have a lot of great experiences with college. I just think we need to be more strategic in how we pay for it, right? Because people just go. They finish high school and they just go with no idea of what they're doing, how they're doing it, whatever. Corey, you're an educator, so you have an advanced degree yourself, as do I. But what's your opinion of college as things are changing now in society?
I really think that college is an opportunity for most people to meet other people that's on the same vibrational level. It's really not about what you learn in college. It's about more who you meet, because this world is focused a lot more on who you know than what you know. Unless you're a doctor or something that requires an advanced degree, I don't really think college is for most people, to be honest. As much as I do education, most of the business people I know got into the business world, and then they got their education through experience and through who they know and not what they know.
That part is true, but it's funny, right? Because and we could probably do a whole show. I don't want to do that. But I see a lot of people like pointing to specific people like, hey, they didn't need school, and they're pointing to the cream of the crop. But overall, when you look at um, I don't want to say successful people because people define success in different ways.
The numbers.
Yeah, but the thing is, there, like, if you look at, say, the quote unquote millionaire next door, a lot of them are college educated for the most part. Doesn't mean that you get, because the thing is, everybody's path is different, right? So I also do believe we should focus a lot on the trades. Like, so I'm very big into that, like in terms of focusing on the trades, because I feel like a lot of us are giving that up. And I always mention in this book, in the show, Dr. Carter G. Woodson's book, Education of the Negro, where he always talks about a lot of us just want to wear suit and ties and not handle those other jobs. But those other jobs are how our community runs, and we depend on those. So I just want to get you guys' opinion on that and give a little bit of background in terms of Demario and his educational background. But coming from that, Demario, I know right now you have a huge printing business, right? So you have let me see, your printing business is called RBY, Right By You. That's printing, apparel, and media.
Correct.
You also have a huge e-commerce business that I'm not even gonna put your numbers out there. When you show me what numbers you're making, I ain't gonna put that out there, man. But you're killing it e-commerce wise, and you're taking your business to the next level. So you're going from just printing and selling your own apparel to now becoming a fulfillment center for other people. How did you make that transition from having a shop to now like being a plug, so to speak?
Right. Man, I'm gonna be honest, man. It kind of just happened, kind of resorting back to what Corey was saying, of like the people that you know and not necessarily what you know. So it was like I was moving around within the e-commerce space, and I don't know. I'm just a person. I like to have my hand in each part of the business. So it was like I had my hands in every part of the business besides of the printing. So that kind of gave me an idea to possibly figure out how could I start providing. First before providing, to start doing the printing myself for myself. That's kind of how it started with that, and then from there, people were asking me where do I get my prints done and stuff like that, and then it kind of just grew from there.
Okay.
So another question behind that is, what was the impetus for you to start your business in the first place?
That's a good question, man. Like, well, to be honest, bro, like I've tried a lot of different things via the internet, a lot of the different multi-level marketing companies, not Password Battle, I'm sorry, but like Paycation and prepaid legals and stuff like that. So I've kind of always had the entrepreneurial mind, but didn't necessarily have the proper steps to take to getting to the next level. So I would just say, just coming from already kind of having the mind frame and then just maturing it over time and figuring out my lane, figuring out what works for me and stuff like that. And just, a lot of trial and error types of things. And so I really wouldn't say it was just one thing in particular, but I would just say it was kind of like a collaboration of things that brought me to the place where I am now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And you, for those who may not be familiar, we are going to put some links to, some of his work in the description. You sent me some information in terms of e-commerce with Shopify ads, and I was like blown away. How much studying or what have you did you put into learning those ninja secrets? Because it's not as simple. Some people just try to set up a Shopify account and send out some links and hope people buy, but you have a whole system in terms of marketing and everything. How long did it take you to kind of like master those skills?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself to be a master because I'm more so still learning as I go. I will admit I am probably a little bit further than others that are just starting out. And I'm gonna really say that really the game changer with that was learning how to effectively set up a Facebook ad. I'm a firm believer in, I can get my people to buy, you guys maybe have friends that support you and stuff like that, but the world is much bigger than that. And, the type of revenue that I'm looking for, my friends probably wouldn't provide that. So I'm a firm believer in paying for advertisement. A lot of people just want you to say, hey, share this, post this, do this, buy my stuff. And once all your friends buy it, it's like now where are your customers coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So I would think the major switch was me learning how to effectively post a Facebook ad, effectively learning how to maneuver through Instagram as well as maneuvering through Facebook without not really just the ads, but looking for my target audience. Where are they at? What are they doing? The types of things that they like. What type of words do they like? Stuff like that. So I really think the meat and potatoes of e-commerce is necessarily marketing to the people that's actually looking for your product, not just trying to market it to someone who you think that will support you because they know you personally.
Man, that's a lot of game right there, man, because all these platforms allow you to do paid advertising, right? So you mentioned Facebook a couple times.
Right.
Your experience, is that where you get the most bang for your buck in terms of marketing? Right.
Most definitely. Facebook, man, is so powerful because it integrates with a lot of different platforms. So like you could find someone by if they got engaged, if their color, their age, their race, where they live. It's just
it's scary, right? Because I'm gonna tell you why, right? So I recognize the power of Facebook. So everyone knows that I'm a real estate guy, so I'm in the real estate. I once sold a property close to $500,000 on Facebook, and the person didn't even see the property. They bought it based on an ad.
Damn.
Once that happened, and how I was able to target who I was like, I'm talking the same thing you're just saying in terms of age, income, the area they live in. You know, once I saw how that worked, I'm like, yo, they really have like, because I'm old school, so I've been like trying to do things in terms of marketing and paid advertising back with Google AdWords and AdSense and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But when I used Facebook and I saw how targeted you can get, I was like, yo, this dude is sitting on a gold mine. But what are your thoughts on Instagram thus far in terms of like marketing on there? I've heard so many people that have had like a lot of success the way they have on Facebook. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think Instagram, you know, because Facebook owns Instagram, I think now they're more so integrating into more of a Facebook feel as far as ads and targeting. I think Instagram is definitely a powerful item that you can use, especially if you know how to put out quality content, you know, where the videos are looking good, your pictures are very crisp. I think Instagram is really based on that. The more clarity of your content and the more content that you put out via Instagram, I think will increase your chances tremendously for reaching people, and the use of hashtags and stuff like that on Instagram is really huge.
Okay. So are there any other platforms or services that you see like people should be starting to look at now, or right now do you think Facebook and Instagram is where it's at?
Facebook and Instagram is pretty where it's at, but I also would include another program. It's called Klaviyo. That is a email marketing platform. So basically, I have about a 75,000 email list. All those emails I didn't personally collect. You know, I do use a service for some of them, but a lot of them did just come from, you know, different campaigns I ran for, you know, getting people to sign up for different offers and stuff like that. But I think along with email marketing, Facebook and Instagram, along with email marketing, I think those are my top three that I'm using right now to generate sales within my e-commerce.
Okay. Interesting, right? So you pretty much have it down pat in terms of this whole e-commerce thing. And what's interesting is this is all self-taught, right?
Correct.
I always talk about how someone once told me, "Don't let school get in the way of your education." So
Facts.
so it sounds like, what you've been able to do is like, teach yourself a lot of business skills to succeed in an online platform.
Correct.
I know that you recently got a building. You were doing all this out of your house, and you moved to a commercial space, and you took it to the next level.
Correct.
How did that happen? Like, so explain that process.
So, well, I was doing it out of my home for about 2 years, just building a business, you know, more so just really, really printing for myself. And I linked up with some guys, and we had organized a three-way split on a Shopify store. So we just opened up the store in like February. No, it was like September. I don't know why I said February. It was like September of last year. And, you know, we were just selling like just trendy items on Google, you know, looking at eBay, Etsy, stuff like that people are buying. And they might not necessarily properly advertise their stores. So these people were having the same type of products we were having, but they weren't using the same type of tactics we were using to reach their customers. So we did a couple different campaigns, a couple things were going well for us, and then the game changer happened on Black Friday. We did a 4-day sale. Actually, it was like 5 days. We did like a early bird sale from Wednesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday was like the early bird, and the actual sale went on Friday. So from Wednesday to, I'll say, that Cyber Monday, we did about 5 figures on sales. A lot of the things that we were selling, we were actually doing the printing for them, as far as the T-shirts and stuff like that. So it was like it was like a light just clicked on. It was just like, man, you know what? If I can offer this and I can do this for myself, I know it's other people that I can help out there that's looking to do the same thing that I'm doing, like having their freedom, being able to enjoy life with their kids, things of that nature. So I kind of really took a hard, long look for about 3 months. I was just looking around for the perfect space. I didn't really want to take on too much, but I knew that I needed more space, because in my home I have like over 300 or 400 T-shirts. So in 3 or 4 rooms out of my house is nothing but supplies, and my ladies like, but she's stepping over stuff, and don't want to have nobody over at the house because they looking at us all crazy. But I'm like, hey, it is what it is, So, like, if they don't understand, then hey, they just don't understand. So it just kind of went to that, and then I kind of found the perfect building, man. It's close to home. I don't really have to travel too far. But I have a 2,000 square foot facility, and we're actually moving more into the digital printing side. So we're doing like DTG, we're doing embroidery, as well as wrapping vehicles and stuff like that. So with the place, it allowed me to expand on the services and really offer more than just T-shirt printing. So like I said, we're wrapping vehicles, we're doing photos and videos and all types of things now, and that's kind of where the media aspect comes in on it.
Okay.
But I would just say, just to answer your question, just to cap it off, I would just say it's just the business was at a point to where it was screaming for, if you want to scale up, you have to be able to have more space, because there's only so much room in my house. Okay. So I would say that's really what it was. The business made it happen.
I have a question about education. You said Jim said you sent them some videos and some education. What was the impetus for that? What made you want to do that?
You said, say it. I didn't hear you.
You said Jim says you sent them some information, some videos and some information about the Shopify store. What made you want to actually help other people? What was the thing that drove you to want to educate other people?
I'm gonna really say, man, the number one thing that I felt was like I've never been a person who want to learn something and then try to hide the game from other people. I've always been the type of person that, especially if it's someone that looks like me, come from my same background or come from my same types of struggle, it's like, if I can do it, you can do it. And it was more so that was the motivation behind it. Like I said, I was going to charge for it, but I scratched the charge and I just gave it away for free. I really kind of want to get back to it, but with, opening up this space and doing all that, time's kind of been short. So I'm going to get back to doing more of the videos and stuff like that. But I would say the ultimate thing was just like, if I can do it, you can do it type of thing.
Hey man,
that's love.
You basically, I guess as Nipsey would say, you were vertically integrated. Like you had the whole thing down, and you have an actual brand, Passport Valid. So right. I've seen the IG page, and I see that in terms of one of your own personal e-commerce sites. So what have you? How'd you come up with that brand? I guess it's, to me, it would appear that you love to travel with the brand of Passport Valid.
So what happened was, man, when I first moved down to Atlanta, I used to do a lot of like promo stuff. I used to like book artists, take them on the road, stuff like that, and I would just organize all of the travel arrangements. So,
where are you originally from before you got down to Atlanta?
I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, getting in Ohio. Okay.
Yeah. So when I first moved to Atlanta, that's what I was doing. I was booking artists, working with different artists, and I would always be the one to organize travel. So just getting around doing that stuff, booking the artists and stuff like that. Once I did stop booking the artists, I would still get artists that would hit me up like, hey, man, can you book us some stuff? Let us know what's going on in this particular city. We want to stay here, all those types of things. So I was kind of more so like a travel agent for artists, but I didn't really look at it like that. It was just me helping people type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I had a friend in Cleveland who they do promotions as well, and we worked out a deal where we would promote a trip down to Dominican Republic for the Floyd Mayweather fight with Manny Pacquiao. So this was in like 2015. So we just basically we was like, man, let's just send out a text message. We really didn't know how it was going to go. So we sent out a text message, like a mass text, and just off of the text messages, we got about 27 people to follow us out there.
Okay. So with that being said, right, just transitioning forward, I know that you're a member of a Bacchus, which are a group of brothers and sisters dedicated to investing and teaching others to invest. So in me, like following your journey and following you online, I see that now you're heavy into investing.
Right.
I see you love your dividend stocks. You always talk about your dividend stocks.
Period.
That's something that all three of us have in common is the dividend stocks.
I don't care how good the company is. If they ain't giving them no dividends, I'm cool.
Yeah. Listen, so how did you get an interest in the investing aspect of business, and what are you like working on in terms of that? Like, so it's one thing to own a business, right? Mm-hmm. And there's different aspects of owning a business, but now taking it to the next quadrant, if we talk about the cash flow quadrant by Kiyosaki. So you're going from, having a business, right? Now you're going to the I quadrant as an investor. Right. Is it something that you always envisioned, or did someone put you down with investing and you learned it? Like, how did you come about becoming an investor as I see you making that transition now?
Man, what's so funny, man, is like I've always kind of had the mind for it, but I never really knew where to get the information from. So, I was, even before the Bacchus, I would watch CNBC, I would watch the stock market bell, opening day. I would still watch the stuff, but I really didn't know what I was watching. I was just more so looking at business more so. And some friend, he tagged me in one of James' posts and was like, bro, man, I really think you should get with dude. And he's a good guy. And kind of like I was saying before, I've done so many different internet businesses. And I kind of told my dude, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm done with the internet businesses stuff, man. If he ain't really official, I'm cool. Mm-hmm. He was like, man, nah, man, dude, he official. So I started watching James for about 6 months. I didn't say nothing on his page. I didn't like any posts from him or anything. I was just watching what he was saying. Mm-hmm. And one day he kind of struck a chord in me where he was saying that he was teaching people, but he was only teaching black people. He was going on a rant saying how he turned down X amount of dollars from a group of white people. And that really struck out to me, because usually people are just about the money. Like, it's not about teaching, trying to pass it down to a certain group of people. It was more so just about making money. So once I heard that from him, I really started to tune in. Really, I turned on my notifications. So whenever he posts, I would get a notification that he posted just to see what was going on. So I would say about November 2016, I went ahead and I invested into the Bacchus, just off of, like I said, watching for 6 months, listening to what other people were saying, stuff like that. So I took like the first 6 months, man, I was really kind of playing around with the information. Oh, well, let me back up. So what I did when I originally first started up, I went ahead and paid for the entire year, because I'm a person, like, I don't like to waste my money. So I paid for the entire year just to give myself some time to get, take the training wheels off and stuff like that. And I try to learn everything in a month, so I ain't got to keep paying the monthly charge. I was like, hey, look, I'm going to pay this yearly. I got a year to get this information down to make it work for myself. So that's what I did the first time. That's what I did when I initially signed up. So I took like 6 months, in and out, on it 2-3 weeks at a time, maybe fell off about a week or two, something, for like 6 months. So I finally went ahead and say in March, he dropped a Bitcoin class. That was in March of 2017. Mm-hmm. I was going through some financial situations with the government and stuff like that. They had some money froze up in one of my accounts. And So I was on some F the government type stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that's basically what Bitcoin was saying. Like, so I was with it, like, So long story short, man, I invested into Bitcoin. I bought 3 whole Bitcoins right off the rip. Bitcoin was like $1,100 when I first bought in. And I held on all the way until like November when it reached about 18 grand. I went ahead and got rid of 2 whole Bitcoins at 18 grand, which was 36,000. So really I turned like 3,500 into 36,000 in the course of about 8 months. That's all I needed to see. It was over. It was over.
It was over. Kind of money is over.
It was over. Like I'll say, oh yeah. So I was going hard on the crypto for a long time. I still rock with the crypto. I was doing a lot of trading, and just through one of my presentations, I was letting people know like I was losing so much sleep and losing time and energy and stuff like that by trading that I kind of set it off to the side. I'm not really a trader. Like I got a lot of different things going on, and that was kind of putting me in this situation.
Corey talk about that all the time because like he likes to trade. I'm
not a trader, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm not.
I got too much going on. Like I can't watch it. Like
yeah,
I know you can set it up for the people out there gonna cuss me out. So you can automate it. And I know that, but it's just,
right. But even with the automation, man, you still have to manage it. Like. Exactly. Like you still have to manage it regardless. So it was more so like
companies that just sit around and just pay me. I like my portfolio is very boring, but I love it.
Right, exactly. And mine is kind of like just like you said. It's boring. It doesn't do a lot, but when it do something, it definitely do something. No doubt. So that's pretty much, man, what happened with me to really break me into an investing. I will say this: I really don't encourage people to start out like I did. It was just more so where I was at in my life, type of things I was dealing with at that current time. It would just have me, jump out of really on faith, really. I really didn't, I learned about Bitcoin through the class, but I really didn't know exactly what I was doing. It was just more so I just wanted to do something just because I was put in that situation with them freezing my money and all that types of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, man, that's amazing, man. So now, like, just bringing it all together, you have the business that's flourishing. You're investing. You're also giving back by teaching our people, man. So you kind of got it all going on. What do you see yourself doing in the future? Like, what are your goals now that you've accomplished what you've accomplished? What are your future goals? Where do you want to go?
Well, man, my ultimate goal, man, like, is to buy an island. I don't know where. But wherever I can buy an island at, I would love to buy an island and make that island attractive for Black owners, Black business owners to come there. Far as if it's something to deal with the land, I wouldn't mind going maybe down to the Caribbean somewhere to where it's not too far from the United States, but we're kind of like we're doing our own thing, and pretty much develop the whole entire island from sewage, airport, hotels, all that types of stuff. That would really be my ultimate goal that I want to do. And I don't really see it happening soon, but that is something that I do want to do.
I love it because like a lot of times I ask people like, what's their goal? And they be like, well, I want to buy like 10 houses next year. You said I want to get an island for my people. That's like next level. So
yeah, man. like just yeah, man. Like I would love to create like our own little Cancun, where it's like Black-owned businesses all throughout the Strip. I don't know if you guys ever been down to Cancun and seen the setup, but
yeah, I've been to Cancun.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying, like all the hotels and resorts and everything like that. I would love to offer that to say, hey, Court, man, we got some space, or Jimmy, man, you in the real estate, come and look at this space, man. Maybe you guys can build a hotel or build a restaurant or build a barbershop, anything, something to.
That's an amazing goal. I'm blown away by it, man. But I'm glad you said that though, because like these are some of the conversations that are being had these days. And it's funny because I was just telling someone, whether on a previous podcast, Tom Montgomery, the real estate dude, I was telling him that I think it's like a paradigm shift in terms of our people willing to share information. Mm-hmm. But I've been thinking about that. I don't know if it's a paradigm shift overall, or is it just the fact that my circle is shifting, right?
Right.
You two brothers right there are, two brothers that I follow on a daily basis. And, you guys are always talking about business, you know what I mean, about entrepreneurship, about family. So it's like the conversations are switching, right? So usually you go online and you know people are talking about what the score of the game is or something. Not that I don't love my ratchetness. I like ratchetness just as much as everybody else, but I like
Right.
So
Right.
that's something that our listeners and viewers can take away as well. Like there are brothers and sisters out here who are doing big things and have big goals such as buying an island. So it's like you need to network with the right people because if I wake up in the morning, right, and I'm like everybody else, I check social media. And, I'm waking up and I'm hearing brothers talking about buying islands and trading options for the day and buying property and what I'm saying, e-commerce and all these kind of things. It motivates me. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you because
Appreciate that.
my
Appreciate
social,
that.
I watch what you
Yeah.
do and that kind of like motivates me. So, but like we always do on this thing, one thing I want to ask you about is books, right? So I like to ask everybody about books. What would you say are some of your favorite books that you have read throughout the time that have given you some game or motivated you or something that you would recommend people read? It could be anything. It could be anything from a crime novel to a everybody's favorite. Everybody hits me with the rich guy poor dad. But
I'm going to say the number one book, I think, and this is going to be for the brothers. I'm going to give up two books. I'm going to give one that I think strictly for the brothers should read, and I'm going to give another book that I feel like everyone should read. But the first book, I think, and the reason why it's going to be two books, let me explain that, is because I feel like us as men, I feel like we should have
you can give as many as you want. There's no limit on how many you can give. I just want to, if you want to give just give me
okay. So I'm gonna give you two books. The first book I think that every black man in America should read is The Message to the Black Man by Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
That book really changed my life. Like, just from the perspective of the way that it was written. You know what I'm saying? It was written to me on empowerment. It wasn't written on tearing down a system, guidelines as far as black men, how to conduct ourselves amongst the world as well as amongst each other. So I think that's huge. I think if me and you might not know each other personally, but we have mutual respect as men. And I kind of think in our community, we don't respect each other as men first. We respect each other for what you have or what you can do for me first. Or he hit her, or he got this chick, or he driving this car, or he's rocking this watch. And I kind of think that is like a superficial respect level. So I think once you take it back down to the essence, and that's, we all men, we put our pants on the same regardless. Like, so I kind of think that's why that book to me is so important. A business book that I read that I would recommend for everyone would be Rework by Jason Fried.
Okay.
Rework is basically rewires your mind. It's from being an employee to an entrepreneur. Anyone looking to scale a business, anyone looking to gain more information on how to be an effective entrepreneur, I think that book is good for you.
Okay, that's good because Rework is one of those books that I actually own. Haven't got to yet, and I feel like I say it on every episode, but I'm heavy in the book.
That's what's up.
But in terms of Message to the Black Man, I actually just reread that. I think it was the end of last year, the beginning of this year. I just reread that because I always go back and reread books that I've read years past.
Mm-hmm.
I gain more information to see how I feel about it, and
right,
powerful book and it is an uplifting book when you read it because he talks about like gaining knowledge from everywhere, but just taking that knowledge and bringing it to your people.
Exactly.
So a lot of times people try to talk about, he was either anti-Semitic or he hated white people, but it's not like he actually tells you in the book to study them, study the good things about them, right? Like he goes in, he has his bars in terms of like,
right.
But he does say, listen, when you see how they built, he talks specifically about companies and governments and
mm-hmm.
talks about going to see how they built that, but then bring that information back to your people and take the good parts and build with your people. So
exactly,
a lot of game in that book. So that's definitely a good read. Rework, I'm gonna get to that. Now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna move it up my list.
Right.
There's so many great books out there. Before we get out of here, Corey, you got any more things you want to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Mario, what made you go from Columbus to Atlanta? Was it the weather? Was it the business? What made you move your operation, your shop from Columbus to Atlanta?
Man, I'm not about to be politically correct and say some more. So I'm gonna give you the real why I moved to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta, man, because I was at a point. I just came home from jail. I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing, and it was like I looked around at every people that I was engaging with in Ohio, and I was just like, I'm gonna end up back in prison or worse, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like no one had anything for me different to do. Nobody besides my friend in Atlanta. And that's who basically got me started with the promo. Shout outs Donnie Peoples. And you know, he's a longtime college buddy of mine, and you know, I really thank him for that, because he could have tried to bring me on as an employee or something like that, but he gave me half the company. He showed me everything, introduced me just like I was his partner. And I kind of think that really switched my, like I said, I always had an entrepreneurial mind, but I really didn't know how to nurture it. So it was like I was thrown in the fire to have to learn on the job. And I think that was the best training for me, because I'm a hands-on type of person. So that's really just the switch in the mindset, man, and not wanting what I've been getting and wanting something different, and knowing that I'm better than what I was doing, and that in a whole, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, and the weather too. Like I was down here, I remember vividly, I was in Atlanta on I think it was January 9th, 2011, and it was 75 degrees down here. I'm riding with the windows down. I was feeling good. I call home and it's a blizzard. Like I'm like, oh, that's it. Hey, put your mama on the phone.
Never coming back.
So it was something like that. It was like, you know, with that, it was like the weather definitely pushed me over the top, but I was pretty much already had my mind made up that I was going to move to Atlanta. Just the energy, man, down here, like people. And say Jimmy kind of touched on it, like the willingness to share the information. In Ohio, it's like people don't really got no information for you. The people who got the information, they're not gonna give it to you. So it was like when I got down here and I got to mingling with people who was doing what I wanted to do, and they looked like me, and I was seeing like, damn, like I don't have to do that to get the results that I was getting before. I can do what this person is doing, and it kind of just went from there, man. It was like I fell in love with Atlanta just from that, like just the willingness of trying something different and not sticking to the unquote status quo of a black man in the hood type of thing.
Yo, your story is amazing. Like
that's inspirational, man, to a lot of people out there, to let you know, like, even if you make a mistake, it's coming back from that. But I want to point out something real quick, because I found this interesting just listening to you talk, right? So going back to the previous podcast with the brother we had on, he talks about, we asked about college, right? So he's a master real estate wholesaler. And he talked about how he didn't learn anything in the classroom in college, but he used to throw parties. And the skill set that he learned from throwing parties at college helps him in his business, because it helps him organize and things like that. Mm-hmm. You just said that the person that put you on and showed you all kinds of love, giving you half, was a college buddy, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm bringing those two things up because as I listen to these stories, right, and we all consistently having this college conversation, college is more than a classroom.
It definitely is.
You made a connection that helped you get to where you are today, as he learned a skill set outside of the classroom that helped him get to where he is today. So I just want to bring that up, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely feel like I said, I definitely feel like college is definitely, for the experience-wise, it's like second to none. I would encourage people who might not know what they want to do to go to college. Like, you know, some people might know exactly their career path that they want to take, and they got, you know, all their majors and they know what they want to do. If that's you, fine. But if it's someone who's just kind of just out here just looking for something, but they want to do something, I would say college, because of the relationship that you can build, the experiences that you can have, and So that's my thing. But like I said, the financial aspect on it is kind of like
tough, dog. Yeah.
But I do, like I said, I'm not totally against college though.
Yeah. As I heard you talk though, it just stuck out to me like, okay, so this is like the last two shows in a row where someone has mentioned college, but it wasn't the classroom. It was like everything outside the classroom, but those things have helped you get to where you are today, man. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, though, man, Corey, you got any other things before we get out of here, good brother?
I just want to say thank you to Rio for coming on the show and blessing us with these bars.
Most definitely, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the invite, man. This is cool, man. I gotta get more in tune with this type of stuff right here. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity.
we appreciate you, man, because you gave a lot of wisdom, within this talk right here, man. And I hope people pick up a lot of game that you pretty much gave. And again, you gave it free, and this is for our people, man. So for those out there listening or watching, however you're consuming this content, please make sure you share it, because our people need to hear stories like this, right?
Word.
Same way y'all like to share fight videos, and I'm guilty. I on some of them, I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, you gotta balance it out by sharing stuff like this.
Yes, sir. 80-20, 80-20, 80-20. Don't get me wrong, I like a good twerk video too. I'm just like everybody else, but that's not gonna consume me though, So
ain't nothing wrong with double tapping some of the double
right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I definitely double tap now.
Double tap this too though, you know what I mean?
The real.
Yeah, all y'all savages out here, please share this content. But with that being said, man, for myself and my brother Corey, man, we just want to tell you people out there, as we always say, pick up our book, Own Your Time and Space, and you can get that at ownyourtimeandspace.com. Again, it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And we'll see you on the next episode. The game elevates. Peace, family. And make sure you share this content.
Shout out to your Bacchus, baby.
Shout out to the Bacchus.
Shout out to the Bacchus.
Word.